Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry, give me a second to get set up here. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen, all that good stuff. And we can get going. Hey, can y'all hear me or not? Hear me all right? Anybody? Good evening. Can y'all hear me? All right, well, I'm just going to be here doing my own thing then until I can figure out someone can hear me. So I'm not going to start talking if no one can hear me. It'd just be a waste of time. All right, cool. I'll get started here in a second. I don't know if there's a massive delay or not. Oh, I see what you can do there. All right, give me 1 second. We can get going. Sweet. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, we can get going then. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. Just looking at the market right now, Bitcoin obviously looks like garbage right now. We can look at SPX. That's what most people care about. I mean, it looks fine, right? This is simply from a price action point of view, it looks fine. These institutional moving averages that the general market cares about. So whether you care about it or not, I don't care, but the general market does. That's why that we track it. But anyways, so we're right at we're above 6,900. It's getting kind of a key battleground. I mean, we can see the last really month has just been a massive choppy chop fest, for lack of a better term. Oh, what's up, Paul? Oh, I didn't see you guys there. Sorry, been talking to myself. All right, put a headphone in. Howdy, sir. How you doing?
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. Must be nice little scene of weather change, huh? How'd you told your wife, I'm gonna go suffer in this 70-degree weather?
Yeah,
So bad.
It's about what it is, and leave her in 5 and 10-degree weather with a minus wind chill.
That's brutal. Yeah, it was like 40 degrees here today. So a little wind, a little cold, a little windy, but nothing like you guys are experiencing. So you made it though to your final destination?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Very good. We're just doing the rounds here real quick.
Sure.
So yeah, just looking at SPX 69.15 right now, just down in the last month, been a choppy mess. Looking at Friday, I was going to record a video for everyone after this, but posted on Twitter right every day, looking at the gifts from the prior day. But just a lot of choppy price action, right? You had put the call centroids, trending, kind of 45-degree lower. Puts centroids trending, sideways to higher. That's just classic choppy price action. Just kind of deeper dive into those centroids itself. That's what these spaghetti models is what I call them. But there are,
yeah, no, that's a good way to describe them.
There are speculative charts, which is just kind of a more granular view. It's a derivative of the centroids, right? So we can dive deeper into, how specific cohorts are participating in the centroids themselves. So the C50 line, for example, which is the red line, that is 50% of all call speculation for that 5-minute bucket is at that level and lower. Yeah, same thing for 40, 30, 20, 10, and same thing to the put side. And so again, that's just a really good way of kind of understanding kind of where the bounds of speculation are occurring throughout the session, right? Because it's a dynamics every 5 minutes that's going to update, that's going to change. And so, whether you're premium selling, understanding where folks are, and more importantly, are not transacting, right? Because, it's our belief that price is generally not going to go where folks are not transacting, all else equal. Obviously, if there's a news event, a tweet, something, right, you can't build a sustainable system around predicting when those are coming out. But, your day-to-day meat and potatoes, price action, this is very helpful in understanding kind of where, the lower bounds of price action could be on for the day, and kind of understanding, right, putting in the context, the structure, the key levels, and then how folks are transacting, kind of where your up and lower bounds are, and then how folks are transacting. And, like some folks were talking about in the Discord on Friday, this 130 kind of low for the day was just a good risk to reward, right at 6,900, right at kind of lower bounds where put speculation was. So a lot of confluence there. I think that was pre-market low or something like that as well. So just ton of confluence there. And then, right, the upper bounds for the day as well, just no material kind of speculation higher, leading you to believe like a sustained move higher. Yes, there was this move in here, but that's just kind of intraday chop, right? Just a large choppy day. So, yeah, I mean, and like we were saying, the last month has looked like this a lot. So tools are useful. That's the way that we go about using it. Obviously, the more you look at it, the more you can kind of figure out how to ingrain it into your system, or, the more you look at it, maybe the more confused you get. So answer your question. We had someone on Grok today, or on Twitter today, ask Grok how this is useful, or you can just ask us, the people that created it. So whatever floats your boat. If you're scared to ask a question, right, probably not going to be successful with our tools, but we're on here every weekend. We are in the Discord every day. So
I have a funny story about Grok. So somebody asked Grok something, and I saw it, and the response was wrong, effectively. And so I responded and named Grok in response.
Yeah.
Grok actually had a response, which I thought was interesting. And Grok asked for proof. And so I gave it a few charts and went through it. And Grok, of all things, responded favorably, right? So it was interesting that AI is judging us now within the world, right?
Yeah. I mean, it only knows what it knows, is right. And so it's not get its access. Well, I mean, maybe it does, but it's not get its access into our Discord and everything. It just
no, of course not.
The charts we put on Twitter, which it's not like we're writing novels when we post those charts anyways. So
yeah. And I think some of the information that's out there is incorrect. And so it used incorrect information in the response for this user.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, let's just test AI here a little bit. Let's just see what its bounds are for recalibrating there. And I, to its credit, I was impressed. So
that's where you got to be careful, though, too, because that's what sucks for us is like someone could be like, Grok, what does this mean? And then it tells them something which is not accurate, but they take it as gospel, right? And
well, everybody has to be cautious. And to your point, we're here every Sunday. We're in the Discord.
Yeah.
We created the tools. We know how they work.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's all good.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of flavor for our intraday tools, right? I know you put a comment in Discord about the JPM stuff, and you didn't really see evidence of that transacting on Friday, and we expected it to maybe.
Not maybe.
Or it should have.
Should have. End of month, yeah. So they roll. They've got 3 funds. They're staged 1 month apart. So we're all familiar with, the big one. And that's got about 38,000 contracts per leg. So it's pretty big in SPY or SPX notional. The one that should have transacted January is not that big relative to the big one. Between 7,000 and 8,000 contracts, and we've tracked these things for years, right? We track them every end of month, and we have lots of ways of getting data and verifying. And I was watching during the day intra-session. Normally between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, they come out with the first roll, and then after the market closes, they do an adjustment, and that posts for those who watch the aftermarket flows, and nothing, absolutely nothing. And so, kind of the definitive cop in the sky is the CBOE, and we get a feed from the CBOE. And so I checked the CBOE and in some detail this weekend, and nothing. So I didn't see anything on the brokerage chains. So anybody can go into your brokerage chains, right? And you can watch the month. So it's 3 months from January. So I mean, count on your fingers, right? February, March, April, the end of April. It would have been the end of April expiry. So you want to be looking at the end of April. So you could open up your brokerage chains. And if you display volume in your brokerage chains, you can see it come in. And you typically, for like Interactive Brokers and TradeStation and TOS, they keep streaming away. And so after 4 p.m. Eastern time, they keep doing what they're doing. And you get to see volume roll in, generally much, much later. Not a thing. So if you go to the JPM website, not a word. So each fund has its own series of web pages. It has its own symbol. You can go look at it. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So what do we make of it? We don't make anything of it. It wasn't very big. I mean, 7,000 to 8,000 contracts, as many of you are aware, is not overly big.
Yeah.
But it's nice knowing, where they're positioned. It's just a mechanical strategy, kind of like our mechanical strategies. Not as, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, do they generally update their current position on that page?
They will update. The short answer is no, but the longer answer is they update the net asset value, the fund size, et cetera, and nothing.
Interesting.
More important, the CBOE data is the definitive source of transactions.
Yeah.
And nothing. So, we'll get our Opera updates tomorrow morning, like the rest of the industry, and that'll be kind of the last check. But I have nothing to put out there for April.
Got it. All right. Cool. All right. That we can go into looking at the market trend model, right? A little bit of a breakdown this past week. We have, Friday, our kind of bullish momentum indicator signal. It's called TC3 for folks that are in the Discord. Tag Compa 3 based off of back tested data. So not just something that we're making up, right? That turned off on Friday. So that means our two mechanical strategies, the P-Transit Plus GEX, which is 100% mechanical, and then our wheel strategy, both of those will not be initiating new long positions. We'll still be managing those existing positions in the portfolio. But until we get the cumulative tick, which is the bolded white line, getting back above the longer term moving average ribbon, again, which is based off back tested data, we will not be entering new long positions. And then from like discretionary swing point of view, thinking about the dimmer switch, the compass we're always talking about every day, that's obviously going to have it lower as well until we see those conditions improve. Going to looking at SPX structure right now, right? We just have the upper quartile showing here. We can see, right, the transition zone, that's going to be pretty wide right here, right in the middle of it. Well, actually, we're at 69.15. So we have some nodes down here, but you could argue you're right. You're not on the right side of that transition zone. So we've been talking about chop and really, given where we are on the structure, what the market trend model is doing, Like that should probably continue to be the expectation right now. Do you have anything to add to that, Paul?
Not a thing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we'll get. So JB, I assume when you say UD, you're talking about Unified Delta. That's the only thing I can think of, but maybe if you could clarify that real quick, so we're answering the question. Then just finishing kind of the rounds real quick here. What were we saying? Oh, first off, so right, the P2P stuff, right? We have dedicated channels for the wheel. We have dedicated stuff for the P2P, the wheel and the P2P. Those are automated in the context that we provide you with, what those valid entries and exits are going to be. You can see the P2P strategy has been killing it this year, outperforming the back test. So, 87% win rate, 20 for 23 trades, positive expectancy, actually higher positive expectancy on the wins versus losses and then overall positive expectancy. So been a really good start to the year for that. Then overall, 75% win rate. That's right in line with our back testing. So that's good there. The wheel, obviously, to the extent you're familiar with the common option strategy, we have a gamma edge flare to it, just helping us find those. When you're selling cash secure puts, obviously you want to find those stocks that are moving higher, sideways to higher. So we help you kind of isolate those that are favorable to do that, with call dominated dynamics, all that good stuff, those that should kind of have the foundation of wanting to move higher. And then a couple other housekeeping notes. First off is, so I know you guys have been asking about it forever. We've been promising it forever, but we are actually getting close. I just want to show you guys real quick. Let me keep going. Sorry, I went too far now. But anyways, we're starting to integrate all this stuff into the web app. Here. So this is kind of a working prototype in our stage environment. Trying to get this, good enough to have beta testers and whatnot, but we're trying to get our data connected properly and all that good stuff. We're building out dashboards for you. And the end state is right. It's going to be fully widgetized. You're going to have a blank dashboard. You're going to be able to kind of drag these wherever you want, size them however you would like. But that's going to take a little bit of legwork to get to that. So, we're going to be rolling out probably this quad. So you guys just have something that you can, use right away. So just wanting to get that to you. The other thing that we've been working on is we know a pain point of Discord is having you run manual commands. So we're working on our scanners to where, right, you can there's going to be a drop down. You can select any of the scans you want or multiple scans because people like to run multiple scans. Like the wheel is predicated on multiple scans running together to find those good opportunities. So you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to export it to Excel. You'll be able to quickly export a watch list to TradingView. Again, that's going to be all in the web app as well. So, the long and the short of it is we are making progress towards, kind of getting the clunkiness out of Discord and into the web app. Now, Discord's very useful, right? Because all these ideas can be quickly spun up and tested in Discord, but, right? Once its validity, then 3 years later we can get it into the web app. So
well, faster now.
Yeah, no, 100% faster now. So we got a good developer. We got
plural
Copilot in our GitHub environment is incredible how fast you can spin these things up now. So it's pretty sweet. But yeah, I guess JB. Okay, so Paul is asking about the opportunity of Unified Delta and anything predictive there.
Yeah, let's just throw it up on the screen. Do you have the R&D?
Yeah, I'll get it up.
Channel. There's a R&D channel. So the lower right, yeah, that one. Yeah. So the question, is first of all, what is this, right? And then does it have any predictive capability? So what you're looking at is you're looking at the map from Friday or Thursday, whatever. I think this was probably Thursday. I don't think I published the ones on Friday.
Yeah, it's 129.
Yeah, 129 there. And the question that we're trying to answer is, does the structure kind of guide what's happening through the day? And the short answer is we think so. So it doesn't have any predictive capability, which I think is what JB is asking for right now. What you're looking at right here, the red line is the 5-minute price line. And then you're looking at the yellows and the oranges, which are the centroids for that particular 5-minute interval, not unlike the spaghetti graphs that you saw earlier. Now, granted, price in the morning, if you remember, we were taking it in the shorts, right? We were selling off, and a lot of puts were coming into the complex, and we saw that with the vol-m command and the volume and all that stuff. But the one thing I want to point to on the screen, those purple lines, you might not be able to see them well, but yeah, that there, and exactly. That's the point. If you think of it this way, if you were to pour water on a surface, where would the water flow? The zero line. It's kind of with the stream bed, right? And you can see that areas around there, you probably can't see it on the screen right now, but around 0, the purple line, then you have plus or minus 0.1, plus or minus 0.2, and it forms kind of a topo map or a topological map. And we have seen a lot of this, which is why we continue to work on this, where price tends to follow those channels. Coincidentally or deterministically, look where the end ended at the end of the day, on top of a purple line, right? Low pressure. Now, granted, it was already low pressure. You see how at the end of the day, on the right-hand side of that thing, those lines are kind of fat, spaced far apart. It means you're looking out over like a seashore, right? It's flat, not a lot of movement up or down or whatever the case. And you can see at the bottom, the lines are closer together. You can see up at the top, the lines are closer together. So we had this kind of funneling that occurred through the day, eventually driving us towards, the end of the day near 0. What is the 0? The 0 is low pressure for the dealers, for everybody. So I think the short answer is, yeah, there's a there. Acting on it is the next thing. Remember, this is structure. This isn't, with the centroids are overlaid on it. This isn't necessarily the outcome, right? But this at least is part of what has to get navigated, which is what we've been talking about forever. So it gives us the chance to kind of visualize where could things go or shouldn't they go. And I think near the ends of the days, or in the latter half of the session, the afternoon session, and we were talking about this on Thursday as it was happening. I was posting these charts. It was making sense that we were staying in that low pressure area. So, JB, is this the setup for a condor? Maybe. Right. I think that's how you would play something like this. Is it the setup for at least a spread, and knowing that you're going to likely drift in one direction or the other? Probably. So I do think there's some ways to add confidence to it. We're still a ways away from having this available for the users. It's computationally crazy. So it'll probably be a Q2 thing. But we do have a version in stage that I keep tweaking with and breaking. So we're working on it.
Yes, Paul, the right way to think about it too, kind of like the web app, and just understanding like this is like the map or the course for the day. And then, depending on, and then that's where you then overlay kind of the volume of what's actually happening, right? Because you could have, you're going up hills, you're going up bridges, you're going down bridges, just analogies for this map. And then it's like, okay, well, based on volume, like maybe we're feeling good and we may, outperform what our normal pace is here. And that's where we get trend days higher, or, we blow out our calf midway through and then we just struggle to make any progress. Maybe we got to cut the run short or whatever, and that's where we chop around sideways, kind of in between these pillars and whatnot that the structure helps us identify.
Yeah, and what JB just said is absolutely right. Outside, so this is delta,
definitely,
but this is static delta, right? So this doesn't take this. For folks, I know this is kind of hard to think through. The Thursday expiry has been open for weeks, and people 6 weeks ago were able to start putting bets onto Thursday. And they do so from 6 weeks away, 5 weeks away, 4 weeks away, 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away, 1 week away, 3 days away, 2 days away, 1 way a day. Boom. Now we're in the 0 DTE. The structure isn't just the 0 DTE. It's got a whole history. People have been betting on something. This is the bet. This is the structure that they've been betting on. So when the day starts unfolding, you see the opening, the morning cut through the structure. But then we saw volume start to really decrease. I won't bore you, but those who with access to the Discord, you can go in and look at the volume charts. Volume dried up. What did price start doing? You see where that purple line is once it started coming up after 11 o'clock? It's almost a vertical channel upward. Price followed the path of least resistance from 11 o'clock upward. It followed that purple channel. And then once we got past all those gradients by about noon, 1 o'clock, then it just kind of was on the plateau. The marble was just literally, because there wasn't a lot of action going on Thursday, kind of drifted to where the plateau was flat, where there was no gradient. That's what we see. We see this all the time. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. We're always trying to figure out, okay, market sold off. A lot of deltas came in. Now what? Here's the roadmap. Is it going to adhere to it? Maybe. And then on Thursday we saw it.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of that.
Yeah. No, I think it's right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's all we can do is get the structure, pre-market, mark the levels, kind of have your if-thens, what you think could happen. And then it's really just monitoring what's actually happening throughout the day. And it should be pretty simple, right? And, there's a comment on Twitter this weekend about, because we always post our volume, GIFs at the end of the day. And they're like, too bad, it's not real time. And, because I say, it's 5 minutes. And if 5 minutes isn't good enough for you, then probably not a fit. So, but, we've tinkered with everything. And 5 minutes is a good middle ground.
It really is.
And it gives you the general trends, right? So it's very noisy if you buy second, because your lines are just going to be doing this the entire time, as opposed to waiting for the 5 minute clarity to understand what's happening. So,
so the proof of this, you were showing the spaghetti graphs earlier.
Yeah.
Look what speculation is doing in those spaghetti graphs. So people can get all wrapped around the axle that they want, that, stuff's not, to the second. It is to the second because the data coming in is to the second, but we only put it out there at 5 minutes. And this is what you get.
Yeah.
You get those areas of monetization. I mean, my God, P10 and P20, that's the dotted lines at the bottom there. Right? When those speculators were betting, they were betting see how flat that is? From like about 1030, the P10 and the C also, but whatever, the P or the C, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the same thing. This is why we have a market, right?
Yeah.
And it's flat as a pancake. So what's the market doing? Well, price is moving due to the intraday volumetrics, but the speculation is, look at this. This is like rock steady. All you had to do at 11 o'clock is start saying, okay, it's tapering off. I'm going to open a put at 6,900. I don't even have to hit 6,900. I just got to get there in a certain time. Okay, I'm going to open a put at 6,900 and 68.95. $500 risk. All right. As I move towards it, now I'm going to get some value out of it. And you can see by what, 1330, 1320, you actually hit it.
Yeah.
So, you know, and actually the thing to do is to put the long on first, right? Speculate at P10. And then when it moves down there, slam it with the short, collect all that premium that it pulls away, and you've locked in your profit.
That's what I was about to say is, that makes, especially the
There's
market.
so many ways to play this. I mean, you don't need 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30-second data. You don't need it.
Yeah, I agree. Especially right the last month we started, it's been choppy. All this evidence here is just further chop. And so, yeah, once you're starting to get down to these kind of extremes for the day, which for that specific day, these were getting down to extremes because this is where all the speculation was kind of maxing out at. Probabilities, right? Trading, that's all we can do. You know, the trade was then probably sideways to higher from there. There's no evidence.
Well, calls were coming in. Calls came in right there, and then all of a sudden the slope started going up the other way. The other chart we have, the slope chart, showed how that was all, moving around there. So,
well, yeah, here you can see it getting quite aggressive.
Yeah, you can see the centroids just taking off there, and that's because the calls were coming in. Anyways,
yeah, right. It's easy for us to talk about it, but I mean, folks, to the extent you want it, right, you can come look at it yourself and all that good stuff. So,
yep.
The one thing, right, because we're sponsoring tonight's video, right, options market analysis, gamma edge, all that stuff may be new to you. You may not completely understand it. So our entire education platform, if you go to our site, gammaedge.us, free course right here, everything a paid member gives in terms of, the strategies, how to use the tools, the frameworks, why options market analysis matters, why gamma edge matters. Don't have to trade options to benefit from what we're talking about here. Reason being is, right, options are a significant part of market structure today. It's only getting a bigger part of it. So, just understanding how folks are positioned in the options markets, which are inherently forward-looking, would probably benefit you as opposed to, for example, just staring at a price chart, right? If you can take a look under the hood, kind of understand how folks are positioned from that point going forward, is a very good complement to, your price chart based strategy, which nothing wrong with that. A lot of people in our community have that. So we are just a good, can influence with that.
Yep.
So that is the one marketing pitch for today, but it's a free resource, so don't feel bad about doing that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a ton else to talk about. Like I said, from a swing trading point of view, hasn't been a ton really that's been interesting to me. All the Mag 7 components don't look very interesting. The market stuff has just been choppy.
We've just moved into the top of the ribbon. Okay.
Yeah.
In the MTM.
Yeah.
Cautionary. Let this sort it out, right? So when this exists for a reason, right? We didn't just, we're in the top of the ribbon. Woo! This is an area where the buyers and the sellers in previous days, weeks, months were transacting, right? So now we're down to it. So the takeaway, let this sort itself out. A couple things are going to happen. One or the other. We're either going to get a new round of buying. It's going to take that white line up over those moving averages. You'll know when to step on the gas. You really will. There's no ambiguity here. Or gold's going to continue. The commodities are going to continue to sell off. Bitcoin's going to continue to sell off. Everything's going to become correlated to -1, and we're going to start seeing more and more selling to get a reset within the market. And that white line is going to go below the cyan, heavy cyan line at the bottom.
Yep.
That's the time to either, one, put your hedges on, or two, start taking or avoiding taking some long positions and raising cash so that when the market finally does get to a bottom of a cycle, because it always gets to the bottom of a cycle because the puts and everything that goes with them, start buying. So part of being a successful trader is knowing when to sit on your hands.
Yeah.
And we have got a great way to quantify that. So I'm sitting on my hands. That's why TC3 is off. What that means, we're not entering P2P. We're not entering on the wheel. I'm actually not entering on this new strategy that I'm developing, this poor man covered call strategy, until we get some clarity of what's going on.
Yep.
So it's all good.
Yeah, and especially where we are right now, right? The ribbon is so compressed too. Like we could have resolution today, or sorry, we could have resolution tomorrow, and either we see some early buying and we have a linear up day, or we see early selling with a linear down day. So so it's gonna be very important. Early this week, we're gonna probably get a tell one way or another, kind of what the market is doing. So and generally, it's funny. Well, it's not funny. I'm just being cheeky, as they say, how this compression and confluence in the middle of this generally corresponds with us being in the middle of the transition zone, like we're in the SPX. So it's no coincidence that we're in the middle of the transition zone, oscillating between the two, and then we're kind of right in the middle of choppy of the market trend model as well. So generally, when we get a break higher, corresponds with a break higher of the transition zone, and vice versa to the downside. So good confluence there. That's what we'll be watching for. Earlier this week. And then as always, we have our fun with 0 to ET stuff that we can do as well to keep us entertained until we get better trends swing trading. So we'll always be watching that stuff as well.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing any other questions. Tom, I saw your comment on the spreadsheet. We'll look into that. We've been more focused on getting the utility in the web app up for the scanners, but we can look at that after too. I didn't even look at earnings. Let me pull up the earnings thing real quick, and then we can call it a night from there. So earnings this week, not much on Monday. You got Palantir on Monday. Tuesday, you got AMD. Wednesday, you got Uber. Thursday, you got Amazon. Friday. So yeah, you just got more earnings. And then if you go to Forex Factory, lastly, look at the calendar. That is not filtered. Sorry, give me a second. None. We want the US. Just want medium and high. Apply filter. All right, so you got these events to the extent you care about these events. You have, looks like, one high importance event every day. So something to pay attention to.
Yeah, I did some work on companies that are reporting this week. I want to pay attention to Google this week.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, Google's.
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah.
It's afternoon.
Yeah, we definitely want to watch it. It's set up actually to do really, really well, and it has some criteria that, as a longer term holding, can be interesting. So I think if they don't make a misstep in their earnings reports, it's a good long term candidate. They've got accelerating earnings, accelerating revenues, free cash flow, operating cash flow. A lot of these big companies are all making big investments into operating cash flow with their free cash flow, which is virtually no risk to them. So all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not quite as profitable as Gamma Edge, but they're second to us, so that's fine. No, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, and especially with that Claude bot everyone's raging about. Like, I don't see how Google doesn't come out with something like that with all that stuff they got going on. So, Sweet. All right. Well, yeah, Google's been one of the only Mag 7 stocks that have continued to perform well. If you go look at all the other ones, not so great. I know Meta. I think Meta actually performed, or they had been performing terribly, but positive earnings there. I think someone else got smacked. I forget who it was. I think Microsoft. I think Microsoft and Meta swapped market cap gains and losses, but
yeah.
So, all right, cool. Well, appreciate you jumping on, Paul. Glad you made it to your destination safely. And yeah, just keep me updated on pre-market prep. I don't mind doing it every day. It's not a big deal. So I'll be waking up and all that good stuff. So,
okay.
Unless the baby comes, because it could be any day now. So,
how's she doing?
Very pregnant, very cranky, ready to be done.
You better get off of here and go be a dad.
Yeah.
Or a dad to be, right?
I know. So, all right. Well, we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks, sir. Thanks,
Yep.
everyone.